William and Mary versus COVID-19, brought to you by the Office of Health Promotion. Last we spoke, COVID-19 started the game with a 10-0 run, and in the blink of an eye, COVID was on us like a cheap suit. COVID took the lead, but we realized their game plan and have taken the offensive, and we are closing the gap. We took the offensive by starting to wear masks, being physically distant, and washing our hands. And now we are on attack. Whereas before we were on our heels. The comeback is on. We know the best way to beat an opponent is to have a strategy, which is what we previously discussed. But how do you create a solid game plan? Let's talk about it. What do you consider when you're making a plan? First, you want a plan to be SMART. And SMART is an acronym which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Your plan should be specific as possible. Saying I'm going to work on my mental health is very different from I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to go for nature walks, or I'm going to, you fill in the blank. The M stands for measurable. How will you measure your action item? This is where you quantify the specific behavior you choose to work on. For example, I will meditate twice a day for 10 minutes. This will help you better ascertain if you have reached your goal. A. Attainable. Is your plan attainable? Is it something you have the ability, skill, talent, or even self-discipline to achieve? You do not want to make your plan too big or something you cannot accomplish due to time constraints or other factors. Keep this in mind as you devise your strategy. The R in SMART stands for realistic. Is your plan or part of your plan not realistic? Considering where you are in your life at this moment. Using the example I gave, if you are not meditating at all, is it realistic to think that you will start meditating twice a day for 10 minutes? Time oriented. Is your plan time bound? Your plan should answer the question when the identified behavior will happen. You should consider time constraints when you construct your plan. These are all things to consider when you make a SMART plan. It does no good to make a plan if you are not going to stick to it. If you take the time to make it, do it. Can you imagine your coach making a game plan and not following it on game day? Which brings me to an important point. When you make a plan, you may have to tweak it, which often happens with plans. There were no doubt plenty of people who had plans before the pandemic hit, but those plans had to change. There's no harm in doing that. In fact, in sport, quite often plans are adjusted in order to achieve success. Write your plan down. It is nice to think things through, but writing it down gives you an opportunity to review it and see if it's smart. It also gives you a document to review so you can modify and adjust as necessary. This is something most of you already do. You have a plan for your overall day when you have class, practice, workouts, etc. Do the same thing for this COVID practice plan. Last but not least, how will you hold yourself accountable? Who can you call on for support? Who can check in on you so you don't become distracted by other activities and fall back into old habits? As I previously stated, don't be afraid or too proud to ask for help. And don't buy into the idea that you're the only one struggling. Believe me, the majority of people living through this pandemic has their own struggles, whether they look like it or not. COVID-19 is a worthy opponent. The good news is you have the skills to compete and beat it. It is all about how you approach it. Be sure to wear your uniform, keep your distance, and wash your hands. Make a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Find an accountability partner. Remember, you are more than a student athlete. Explore your other identities. This is an opportunity to find out who you are, who you want to be, and work towards becoming that person. Consider this when making your plan. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. Until our paths cross again, be treated well and treat others well.